Hey everybody, welcome. You see the title. Look, it's a lot of people out here working hard to work hard and they're really not getting anywhere. They're working hard and they're still hardly working. How does that happen? Well, welcome to the channel. This is Uzo, Make Money in Africa. We haven't changed the logo, so we're going to show the old one that's Make Money Online in Africa. It's not really all online things, but most of it is. So AI image on here to represent the point. It's a lot of people out here working hard and they're looking like how this guy's wrinkled up in the face. There was an alternative one where he was looking fresh and everything, and the background was still kind of like that. But this one, I'm like, yeah, this represents here. You're losing sleep, you're stressed out, you're all going crazy, and the way that this matrix is set up is that you are designed to fail. It wants you to fail. It wants you to worship these people, these politicians that are there. So you call them your leaders. And they're supposed to, you would think, represent your interests. But most of them worldwide, but we're going to stick to Africa, are not representing your interests. They're doing a power grab for themselves. They're representing somebody else, probably in Europe or something like that. And they're saying, hey, we'll get you some money. You just keep the rest of your population broke. So here's how you can fight back against that. At least you just resist. At every single time you resist and you change and you try to push back and push back and push back. Yeah, they might try to arrest you for something. And at that point, you just say, hey, look, but you resisted and you argued with them. They try to take some corruption money out of you. You make it harder for those people to get it out of you. You start pushing back and start asking them questions and wasting their time and everything like that, like they want to waste yours. See, this whole system that you got with the power going out at regular intervals, these politicians that allow the killings that just randomly take place so it can scare people and have security issues, the thing where you're not really getting a job, and if you do get one, it's barely enough to keep you just by. Those are the issues many of you are going through listening to this. But guess what? That is designed so that you cannot think. Because if you're living day to day, you can't really think. Now, can you? You can think a thought, but you can't act on the action. You can't act on that thought. Why? Because you're like, man, I need to get food today. I need to have my data on today. I know that I should be doing this and that and saving money for the next 5 years, but today I got to do this. And then tomorrow you wake up and it's today I got to do this. And tomorrow you wake up and today you got to do this. Well, one solution to that is you and a group of people kind of team up and everything. But the problem with poverty is it kind of promotes a system of backstabbing and not trusting people, because you might think that, but the next person may say, yeah, I'm just going to pretend I agree with them because I just need to lay my head somewhere. And at the very moment I can, let me get them before they get me, because that's what happened to me. And so it passes it on because I'm hungry right now. Today I got to do this. See, they're not thinking ahead. So it's very hard to find trustworthy people, I understand. So, where's this thing with the title of the video, what I was talking about? Well, let's say that you are a distance runner. You're planning to run a 5K or a 10K. Better yet, a 10K, 6.2 miles. Depending on the country, most of you use the metric system, so 10K. So, the basic thing, the no thinking thing, because people like ones, threes, and fives. So if you ever caught yourself saying, I want to get 1 billion naira, I want to get 1 million shillings, I want to get 1 million euros, 1 million US dollars. See, I want to get one of something, 10 of something, 100 of something. That means you didn't really think about it. It's just a flat number because our minds like 1, 3, and 5. That's what we like. So if you ever did that, that means you weren't thinking. So what happens is a non-thinking person, they will mindlessly go out and do training and say 30 minutes or a 5K. Depending on people's pace, that might be around the same thing. 3 miles. 5K, 3 miles, 30 minutes. Those are the most common things that so-called distance runners do when they're training for one of these 5Ks or 10Ks. They're saying, hey, let me go out here and do it. So let's say it's 30 minutes. It's a time. Instead of a distance, you said, man, it takes me 45 minutes to do a 5K. I don't have 45 minutes. Let's do 30 minutes of running. Okay, you go out and do 30 minutes. Then you go out and do 30 minutes again another day. Go out and do a 30 minutes again another day. But they're at different paces. One is easier. One you stop and walk. And one is this. Maybe you did that when you were in foundation. But your competitors, where they may have started doing it, they started to try different things. See, They resisted the urge to just do the basic. That's what happens in a system. There are people out there making 10 million, 100 million naira in a month. There are people making 500,000 to 10 million shillings over there in Kenya a month, or Uganda. Same thing. Well, the currency rate is different. That's why I'm trying to translate it to people. There are people making a whole bunch of money right now a month, and not through corrupt means, because they started off where you were, where you are, where you may be in the future if you don't change. But what they did was they did something different. The competitors in this 5K or this 10K race, they start doing short sprints, 200 meters, which is an eighth of a mile. They did 200 meters while their race is 10,000 meters. They did say, okay, I'm going to do this, rest 60 seconds. Next one at some point of the season. Then later in the season, they try doing faster. They do less, but they did like 20 of them or whatever it was. Then they say, okay, we're going to do a breakdown. 60 seconds rest between one. Then the next one is 45. Then it's 30. Then it's 15 seconds. They have different training methods. You train faster so you can race faster. Then they got ones where they try to train for speed too, where they only do like one or two of them. And they say, we're going to go as fast as possible, full rest, 20 minutes. They learn all of these different things. They do hill workouts. They do weightlifting. They do all types of different things to work out their body. They rest a little bit more. They eat a little bit differently. They drink more water, and they start to improve even for themselves, and they start to win. Particularly compared to you, because there's only one winner in a particular race. But you can still win in your own ways, because there's the one overall richest person on the planet. But hey, who cares about doing that most of the time, right? That's what most people, they're like, I don't care about being the richest person. I just want to enjoy my life. So how many of those metaphorical 10K athletes are in that enjoy life spot? Maybe there's 1,000 athletes that show up. Maybe 200 of them will be in that area. Maybe 200. Maybe if we really stretch it and be more lenient, we could say 350. Maybe. But it looks closer to around 150 or even less. But let's just use 200, the 80-20, because it roughly goes there. Sometimes it's 70-30 with how numbers go. But 1,000 people show up. Are you trying to be in that 200? Are you trying to do something different? Because right now, what happens is there are people that work hard and they want to show that, hey, I worked my ass off. I did it myself. 16 hours of trading. What the hell is that? Diminishing returns is not doing anything better. Why would I even waste my time doing that on a regular basis? 12 hours. Yeah, okay, let's say that I did that for 6 weeks out of a whole year. Not 6 months out of a year. Not 8 months out of a year. No, that is inappropriate. Yes, there is a building season, and many of us confuse the building season with the main maintenance season and the growth season. When you're building and growing, you got to, do a little bit extra for a short period of time. When you're first learning how to do that 10K, it's going to be harder in the beginning. So you're doing less work. And then when you perfect that, now you do more work. It takes you more time to do certain drills and to run that 10K in the beginning. You're slower. Then you start to do better. The drills that you do are faster. The drills that you do are more efficient. The drills that you do are more effective. And then your time now goes down. The same thing that you were running before goes down. Now, if you just did the basic 30 minutes, your time will still go down. And then it'll plateau at some point. It may go back up. But your time will still go down compared to doing nothing. And that's the thing that's getting people. See, you're comparing your life right now and saying, hey, it must be working. I'm getting some sales for my perfume. I'm getting some sales for my wigs. I'm getting some sales for my cell phone repair, the iPhone repair. I'm getting some sales for this delivery service I got. I'm getting sales for my restaurant. But I'm over here struggling. What are you saying I'm not doing the hard work? Here's the thing. Doing that 30-minute basic ass freaking running on a regular basis. On some days you go faster, some days you walk and run. Some days you do that, but it's basically 30 minutes, or you do it most of the time. Let's say you don't do it all the time, but just most of the time. Still same difference. You got to have variation. Just like we vary what we eat, we vary how we train. We vary how we're doing the work until we find something that works and is efficient, and then we do more of that thing, but still have the basics and maintenance. Yes, you could do the basics, the 30-minute here and there. Maybe instead of doing 30-minute 5 to 7 times a week, you do it once a week or once every 2 weeks. But now you got this other thing that you got. You got to hill every 1 week, because that's really putting up the muscle strength and your muscle strength and balance in your body that you need. Now, when you're going back to these restaurant hair perfume example, the reason why that's not working is because you're not building an audience. What you're doing is you just got the people coming to you, and you got to go out there and hustle your ass off. How can you actually market and go out there and sell and to deliver a high quality product when you're essentially doing all of that and you can't think? I know how this feels. I'm telling you, trying to go source out and get people to come to you at the same time as you building even a course. I tried to sell a course to people. I never made one. I instead was like, hey, I'll just do some live streams and, do that. Now, I actually enjoy doing that myself, but I couldn't in the past be able to have enough time to think when I'm telling, hey, I'll teach you how to trade. I'm trading myself a lot of the day. Now I'm spending a portion of the day, 4 or 6 hours or something, trying to go out and make sure I put my message out on different places and everything and try to get people in. Man, it's hard enough mentally to do the trading. Then I got to do the live stream and train the people that are there, and then do more content for online. But I'm not doing it in a way that's organized. So therefore, it comes off like a jumbled mess. So I'm working hard, but I'm not growing. Everything I got to do, I got to grow. Now, I can accidentally, like I did for a short period of time, accidentally come upon a season where timing is just right, and I have all of this skill set, and I'm getting people to come in. But we don't want to rely on luck. We don't want to rely on that perfect timing. We just assume there's so many different ways to climb up the mountain. There's so many different ways to get to where you want to get. You want a better life? Listen to this. This is very important. There's a lot of people doing their actions right now because the pain of that fire is not hot enough for them to take their freaking hand off the fire. But it's the protection, the anti-inflammatory substance they got on their hand works just good enough for them to keep it there. So it's burning them, but they can't feel it as much. It doesn't give them too much pain for them to put it up yet, but it hurts a hell of a lot. But at the same time, their protection is also working, but not good enough to protect them fully from the fire. So it works, and they say, I'm scared to do something different. Because if I take my hand up and I put this other protectant there so I can grab the freedom of my life, because I got to go through this pain of fire right here, and I got to put my arm in there to grab my free life right here to put the fire out. The hose is underneath the fire so I can turn it on and put the fire out with this water. I'm afraid that if I grab this other lubricant, it might be oil, and I put my hand down there and I burn and crash the hell out. That could happen. Is life. I'm afraid that if I do this, I'm going to have an even harder time if I do it. I'm afraid if I take this off and I put this other one on, is there. That's what's happening in the back of our heads. See, that's why people are doing what they're doing now. You're out there marketing a perfume instead of building a brand, which takes 15 freaking minutes. You could start off a day. To start thinking daily, thinking of a plan of action, a narrative of what you're going to do. It's 24 hours in a day. You so worn out in the brain, you start to go on TikTok and WhatsApp and all of these things and start to, waste some time. All of us do, from rich to poor. But when you're broke, you can't really afford to do that. You can't afford to go into vices more, because the hell, that's not helping you. But instead of using 15 minutes to say, let's, okay, I can't do 2 hours, or my brain isn't wired that way because I'm thinking too day to day and day to day to day to day. Because that's what happens when you're broke. It forces you to think day to day. And that's why somebody that isn't thinking day to day can beat your ass because they got freedom to think. You might even come up to the same conclusion they got, but you don't do it because you're like, damn, today I need to get enough data so I could be online, so I can market my stuff, so then I can sell this stuff. So then tomorrow you wake up and today I got to do this and be online and sell this stuff and market this stuff. And today I got to be online every single day, 365 days a year, or in the case of this year, 366 days in a year. Do you really want your next 1,827 days? That's 5 years, 2 leap years in there, leap days in there, to be filled with that again? Or do you want your next 1,827 days to be like, I'm working about 2 to 4 hours a day and I kind of do what I want? I don't know why I didn't do this before. Hey, if that's you, smash that like button and drop a comment below. Or don't smash the like button, just drop a comment below. Help this video get out because I want to reach more people. The more people that got money, the more trust it is, because poverty makes people act in certain ways that's untrustworthy. If you ain't got anything, you thinking today your stomach is hungry. You might go out there and steal something. That's what people are doing. If you're barely having any money, you might just lie and say, yeah, I can do the job. And you really is like, yeah, I can't do the job. And not like the people that got money and say, yeah, I'll do it. And they got the technology to do it. You just flat out ain't got none of the resources. You just trying to take the money and then you're going to figure it out later. And then it's laid, then you disappear and all of these things. That's what happens when you're broke. It kind of forces you into these situations where you're like, man, I'm just trying to survive, even if it comes at the cost of somebody else. I understand that. Still ain't good, but I understand it. Now, you all are saying, let me repeat it one more time in different words, and then we're going to be off for the solutions here. You're wondering, okay, I'm doing this work and I'm marketing my perfume business. I'm marketing my restaurant. I'm marketing my cell phone, iPhone repair business. But I'm not really getting that much traction online or anywhere or everything. One, the quality of service may be there. Two, you're competing, and competition means you're competing to be the lowest common denominator, so you got to be different. What are you doing on your Instagram page or your TikTok or anything like that that makes you stand out? Don't you see those people that do all of those like kind of motivational type of things online? They seem to be getting a whole bunch of comments and everything. Well, the fact that they get all of that engagement, if they have something that they sell, trust and believe they do have people, not the people that are just commenting because some chick looks good or she got a fat ass. I'm talking about people that are making comments regularly, and they're getting tens of thousands of hearts and likes on Facebook, for instance. I see that a lot there. And TikTok, they're getting all these comments on. Some of those people, by sheer numbers, if you get enough numbers on your thing, you got enough eyeballs, somebody's going to come to you instead of you having to market to them. And that's the thing. People don't like being sold. Are you telling a story? Because you're showing your face. Most of you guys are showing your face with your brand. It's not a faceless brand. So, are you telling your personal story? Do you like going to the gym and being fit? How come you don't talk about that sometimes instead of always talking about the perfume? Why don't you talk about the scientific things that you like in biology? Spend one day a week doing that. Are you afraid that the next 5 years that 20% of the content that you put up isn't about your business and you think that's going to kill you? Even if 80% of it wasn't, you think that's going to kill you? See, if you just do that instead of always selling people, they're gonna come to you and say, "Wow." First, here's the thing, and we got this in our Discord group. The reason why I'm talking about this today, you can come and join there. It's called Bank of Trade and Value. I'm just combining everything together. It's in the link below, by the way. What we're gonna do is we help people through, and we're giving them this, but more organized. This, you're hearing it less organized because you're going to hear it through multiple videos on YouTube, but I'm giving you part of it here. What you do, that 15 minutes I told you about. Really, you should be doing this 2 to 4 hours, but the 15 minutes that I told you about, you start devising a plan, and it should take you about 1 week at the 15 minutes per day. You stop at 15 minutes, don't do no more after you did it. If you're going to do it for the first week, just do it like that. If you say, I'm going to do 15 minutes for the first 2 days, stop at 15 minutes. And then you start working your way up to at least an hour. Come on now. An hour, 24 hours in a day. Come on. Now, that 15 minutes, you're looking there, you're making a plan. How come you don't scrap a narrative to say, hey, you know what? Hey, I'm in the gym, I'm getting jacked, and I never really thought I would have this. I'm giving you an example. I never really would have thought I would become a regular at the gym. It's kind of hard some days, and other days are easier. But if you constantly go to the gym, if you remind yourself that it'll get better, and then keep track of your progress. That's a list of 3. You see, notice I did 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Then you will achieve the goals that you want. You start off with basic things as if a person doesn't know anything about it. Because even advanced people have basic things that they talk about. Think about the biggest fitness people online on Instagram. Think about the fitness people on TikTok. Now, a lot of them are using their body. Now, think about fitness people that kind of show their bodies, but then they got long posts with them. And let me get off of fitness, for example, because that's a bad example for most of you. Most of your stuff will not be visual 100% just like that. If you're talking about selling food, for instance, a lot of that's going to be the marketing with the food. But if you're selling a food business and you're having there, why don't you talk about the essence that created the company? And you talk about it weekly. You pick a day, maybe it's on Sunday, storytelling Sundays, super Saturdays, and you just have a post where you just go kind of long. You go into detail. You open it up with an attention getter. You learn human psychology. What catches their attention? You start off with the problem. Okay, that catches a person's curiosity. Or you start off with something interesting or a novel idea. Novel ideas are things that have a problem and you worked out a solution and you tell them about it. Just like you're talking to a friend. I'm talking to a friend here. You're my internet friends. You see how I just did that? If your brain lit up based on what I said, that means I did a good enough job and I introduced you to something new. And maybe I didn't introduce you to something new. Instead, I talked about the most basic thing. You're like, yeah, you're right. I should be doing this. I did one of those 2 things with you right now. And what I just said is a basic thing. It's not advanced. I didn't get to the advanced yet. That's what you do if you're talking about food and you're selling food in a restaurant. Talk about the basics of that. The culture, or you could just get all freaking nerd out about where the food is grown, where was it originally found on the planet, and all of those things, if that's your interest. Especially it becomes easy if it's already your interest. You talk about your interest and you switch up on certain days of the week, and what you do is the importance of this. Why would you talk about fitness if you are a restaurant owner? Why? Well, because don't fitness people eat food? And the algorithm will show fitness people your post. Yes. Oh, wow. I didn't think of that. Well, you're welcome. My name is Nick. You can say, well, thank you, Nick. But it will show fitness people that. If you like anime and you're running a restaurant or you're selling phones, you start talking about anime, it's going to show you to the anime nerds that also own phones. Don't they have a phone? You're on a phone right now, most likely, or some kind of tablet, electronic device. That's the only way you can listen to me. Or your friend is holding it because you don't got it, and they said, yeah, get your black ass and listen to this. Or for the non-black people that are here, get your ass and listen to this. See, that's what you do. The algorithm is going to be your friend. Now, on YouTube, it works a little bit differently, but this can work on Twitter. This can work on Facebook, and I would assume it works on Instagram. I'm testing it out right now, but it definitely works on those 2 platforms. And to a certain degree, it actually does work on YouTube because I've seen people do this. YouTube is more SEO, search engine optimization, using the right words, and some of it depending on luck and things like that. Especially if you're a black creator, they kind of put you down in the algorithm, but you can still get up within a certain area. But this is going to be your, and that should work on TikTok because they try to show similar things up in front. So if you start talking about fitness and showing your life there, it does two things. One, the fitness people get there, but two, it shows you a real person. It shows your brand is personable. Hey, look at this restaurant brand. We don't know the person's face, but look at this person getting jacked. You don't even show your face. You show your back and stuff, and you just lifting weights. They're like, wow, look at this person doing that. Look at her on the treadmill. She's really going at it. Wow, I didn't know that about the lentils. I didn't know that's where they were from. I didn't know that that was a power food, that it gives you so much energy that it can help in your lifts. Oh, now I just combined two things: history lesson, so you educated them, and the fitness thing. Wow. Or you combine it and say it's a superfood, it helps you on your exams. And aren't people always complaining about, especially the college students, broke college students? Supposedly they got enough for food, though. They always finding stuff for food. Let them come, the ones that got the money, to your restaurant. Talk about exams. Hey, this food helps you think better so you can get there on the exams. You do it during the exam time. That requires that you do a little bit of thinking and branding ahead of time. You only got to do it for 3 weeks. You don't need to do it and push it the whole year when you're doing your marketing pushes. You just do it 3 weeks here, then here's another one in 4 months later, every quarter, every 3 or 4 months later, you do another branding thing. You just do it for 3 weeks. Maybe you got to push it 4 or 5. But yeah, there you go. I just gave y'all some right there. I want y'all to go out there and apply that. Let me know how you feel about that. And that's the video for today. There's a lot of people working hard, but they're not using their mind. They're using their time. And yeah, you can still you do that, but it's so many damn people online. It's so much money to be made. Some of you have local businesses. Some of y'all got local businesses, and to be honest, y'all should just probably start branching out and try to sell internationally too. In all honesty, there's so many people from China trying to sell into Africa. There's so many people from Europe and other Western nations, white run nations, that are coming in that will buy from you, right? And if you're selling something that could be digital, you definitely could be selling to them. What's stopping you? Yeah, it may not be a direct link to you because certain banking or however that goes with the accounts and everything in different African nations make it harder. Man, set up the account. You worry about trying to get the money all the way through later. Sell them that stuff. Because so many of y'all, here's the last thing. There's people that told me there's not a market for writers in Nigeria. Wah. What? Isn't there a Nigerian woman that goes out and she talks about how she didn't like her black skin at one point and everything? She's going all over Europe. She's selling books to them and they're eating it up. She's talking about the racism, the self-hate that she had at some point, and all of those things. And I don't even agree with her all her points, particularly about someone that I'm not gonna go into that, but she has a lot of good points, and she's talking about racism and everything. And then she talks about how these systems and images they put out made her hate herself. That is crazy. And she's selling books to some of those very same people. The last time I checked, when you could write a book, that's not just local anyway. It's not like people are not reading books in Nigeria. I know plenty of people that are reading books in Nigeria. Plenty of people reading books in Kenya. I mean, hard copy books. There's no excuse. You can sell online. And your market, last time I checked, doesn't have to only be Nigeria. Aren't there people, like I was introduced recently, filmmakers, they translate their stuff to French. There are people that's making films in Nigeria, and they got their YouTube films, their films on YouTube. The one lady, I forget her name now, she's translating it now to French and reaching out to that market. Maybe some of y'all translate y'all stuff to Mandarin and sell to China, the biggest freaking economy on the planet. Sell to the US, China, Germany. There's some nations in South America you can sell to, like Brazil. Come on now, y'all gotta think about those things, and I'm introducing you to that right here on this channel. So subscribe to this channel and definitely comment and like on the channel, because the same way that you want to grow, I want to grow. So I hope you, hey, you help me. Oh yeah, and by the way, join that Discord group. It's $30 a month for the people that can't afford that. It's $30 a month, and we're gonna do uh not gonna we do weekly streams at this current moment. We do weekly streams so that we can walk you through a more organized way of that. Eventually, it'll be a course, but it's a weekly stream, a more organized way of getting all of this done. You become that 4-hour business owner, the one person business where you don't need teams of people to do so many things. You just contract people out. Even as a restaurant or delivery person, you contract somebody to do delivery with you, and you just got your cook, you do that and all of this stuff, so you don't have to work all day. Do you want to toil and work for the rest of your freaking life, even on something that you enjoy? Do you really want to have to be doing all of those things? Wouldn't it be cool to just be able to go outside, feel the heat that you complain about, but feel it and say, damn, I got all of my bills paid. Everything is damn near free. I make so much money that I don't even have to look at how much it costs anymore. Yeah, everything's inflating. And from my old mindset, I really want to argue them down. But really, I don't got to argue them down on the price. If that's what you want to get to that part of life where you just be like, let me get this car, let me get this place, let me get this handbag, let me get this dress, let me get this thing here and here and here and here, and you want to get to that point in life, join us. It's only $30 per month, and we're going to be talking about so much more in that Discord. It's called Bank of Trading Value. I actually got a YouTube channel with that, but that more so talks about day trading, and I'm trying to rebrand it at this point, because Bank of Trading Value is more than just trading. You're trading your time for money for more time and freedom. That's what you're doing. So what are you trading? What are you willing to trade for freedom? That's what the question premise from Bank of Trading Value comes from. So I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.